If you were lazy, you wouldn't feel anxious about the thing you're avoiding. The task wouldn't sit there untouched while your chest gets tight. That tightness occurs when the nervous system slumps. It's a physical signal of an active fear response. When you delay something important and then layer it with shame, you enter the specific psychological architecture of avoidance. The more you judge yourself for not starting, the harder starting becomes. Self-criticism increases the emotional friction required to take the first step. Understanding the physiological mechanics of this state is more effective than attempting to push through it with sheer force. Avoidance prioritizes the things that matter most. You don't avoid meaningless chores. You avoid the exam, the application, or the conversation you've been dreading. When an important task enters the brain, the stakes can register as an emotional threat. The fear of failure or judgment triggers a protective delay. Deciding to do it tomorrow provides an immediate reward. Anxiety drops, and the brain experiences a temporary moment of relief. That drop in anxiety trains the brain to repeat the delay. Now the task carries its original weight, plus the compounding pressure of the time already lost. This creates a clear distinction. Lazy people don't psychologically spiral over their inaction. Avoidant people do. Labeling yourself as lazy keeps the brain in a state of perceived threat. A brain in protection mode cannot perform. Avoidance often looks like the freeze response. You aren't distracted, you're simply frozen while staring at the task. When the brain detects a high-stakes threat with no clear solution, it shuts down movement. Momentum stops entirely. Fear then drives emotional amplification. A single email or a basic form feels massive because the brain has inflated the perceived risk of engaging with it. Eventually, the tension spreads. Unresolved open loops consume the mental bandwidth needed for everything else, making every small task feel heavy. We often mislabel this exhausted state as a lack of discipline, ignoring the fear that is actually driving the behavior. The cycle of avoiding and self-shaming represents the nervous system's attempt at self-preservation. To break the cycle, you have to reduce the systemic threat level rather than trying to increase the intensity of your effort. First, shrink the task to its smallest physical component. Don't write the report, just open the document. Then, separate the task from your self-worth. You are not the outcome. Use timed exposure. Set a timer for 5 minutes. The goal is simply to make contact with the task, not to finish it. Replace self-criticism with observation. Stating, "I am avoiding this because it feels threatening," accurately identifies the internal state and lowers the associated shame. This is the process of nervous system regulation. It is a biological adjustment that makes action possible. Burnout, overstimulation, and avoidance all stem from these same physiological roots, patterns of protection that are frequently misidentified as character flaws. When you next delay an important task, pause. Ask what your brain is trying to protect you from, rather than why you're lazy. Interrupting the cycle with that specific question is where change begins. This is Misdiagnosed Traits. Next time, we'll examine a common behavior often called a bad habit, and look at why the nervous system relies on it for emotional survival.